Hello and welcome. Thank you for sharing a few minutes of your time with me. Nothing I say in this video will be life altering. My hope is at the conclusion, you are motivated to schedule a call where we can talk about things that could be. Let me describe what your world might look like. Your numbers are ready, or you think they are, or you believe they are. You believe they're close, but the critical SEC filing, the board package, the investor update, delivery is scary uncertain. You're in the middle of a scramble. Senior management fears it's losing credibility, or worse, critical decisions are being made daily without a clear picture of what the outcome will look like. Either way, you lose credibility, you lose money, or worse, you lose both. So, how does this happen? If you wait until the numbers are done to develop and finalize the narrative and to make sure everything complies with GAAP, you're inviting last minute pressure into the process. A solid foundation to support a disciplined process may be lacking. Here's the result. The things that matter the most, the board package, the disclosures, the risk factors, compliance with the latest accounting rules are treated as final step items. One thing we will agree on is that a solid foundation needs the proper tools. We're not going to identify the latest and greatest in this short video because it will probably change by the time I finish recording. Suffice to say that the process and tools of the world of accounting are changing at a head spinning pace. You and I both know it's important to keep up or risk having to play catch up. Keeping up is something I would love to discuss with you. I'm Kenneth Brimmer, Brimmer Company. I work with growing companies, both public companies and those working toward the next round of private or public financing, and with finance teams that need a cleaner reporting structure, discipline, and real accountability before critical deadlines are missed. In more than 40 years of public company financial work as a preparer, a presenter, and as a person sitting on the other side of the table, one pattern shows up consistently. The accounting team does exactly what it was trained to. Debits equal credits. Trial balances balance. The books are clean, we hope. The trees are fine, but too often the forest is on fire. When the final deliverables aren't ready, when adjustments, disclosures, and narrative work gets pushed to the last week, the accounting team stops looking like a pillar of strength and starts looking like a black hole. Review cycles stretch, leadership questions pile up, and management gets pulled off the job of running the business. Here's a situation you may have faced. Company completes an acquisition, the deal is done at a reasonable multiple of EBITDA, all good. Then accounting finally weighs in. How do we book this deal and what do we need to disclose? Do we have goodwill? Do we have negative goodwill? What about the acquisition footnote? Who's gathering the information? Will we need audited historical financials? What does Regulation X require? The ink is dry, and the accounting team is now just starting to answer questions that should have already been framed. The draft financials get delivered, and the questions start rolling. Why did this number change? How are we explaining this variance? Why do we have a deferred tax asset? Does this match what we told investors? Has legal reviewed this yet? And where are the auditors at? Suddenly, the team isn't finalizing, they're reacting. And often the review process leads to late adjustments to the numbers. This creates pressure, confusion, and a risk that didn't need to be there. Counting didn't get stressful because the team didn't work hard. It got stressful due to poor communication and a lack of clear accountability, which led to the work starting too late. Here's the reframe, and it's simple. Disclosure work should start before the numbers are final, not after. How can you build the structure early, even when some detailers are moving? Here's how. Step one, simple. Identify what changed early. Before the quarter ends and before drafting anything, ask what's different this quarter. Or even better, ask what's different this month. What are the non-routine transactions? What will the auditors, legal, or investors ask about? Revenue changes, margin shifts, debt activity, a new lease, new option grants. If something changed, it almost certainly needs to be understood, thoroughly vetted, and properly accounted for. Build the reporting framework and process before the close. That's step two. You don't need the final numbers to build the outline. Start with sections, fill in details as the numbers land. One step alone keeps the team from staring at a blank page at the worst possible moment. Step three, be sure to align the narrative with the results. The financial statements say what happened. Management needs to explain why it happened, needs to understand why it happened. And those two things must match and be recorded in accordance with GAAP. When they don't, the review gets messy fast. This leads auditors, legal, and your team exchanging a volley of comments going back and forth until the final sign-off. Step four, start the review before the final review. Don't wait until the filing is done to get eyes on disclosure line. Finance leadership, legal auditors, and executive leadership. Even a rough early draft catches direction and problems before they become deadline emergencies. Step 5. Track open disclosures as you would any other deliverable. Every disclosure item needs an owner, a due date, a decision needed, a current status, and a next step. If those questions live in email threads, they will get lost. When disclosures are started early, critical deadlines are met. The review feels completely different. Less rewriting because the work is already done. Less confusion because the whole team knows where things are headed. Less last minute pressure. Financial reporting is driving the process, not reacting to it. Conversation with leadership, auditors, investors all have a confident clarity. In my next video, I'll share a simple disclosure drafting readiness checklist. You can use it to identify what needs to be in motion before your filing window closes. And if you think you might like a second set of eyes on your reporting process, whether you're navigating your first public offering, preparing for a capital raise, or just want a clearer picture of where the risk is, I'm prepared to meet you where you are and explore a range of alternative solutions from the gritty detail of bookkeeping to the highest level of review. If you want to explore what that might look like, you can schedule a confidential strategy call at brimmercompany.com. I'm Kenneth Brimmer. Thank you for watching.